Chet here at the Milspin factory. Should you keep your magazine loaded? I see this question asked on the internet all the time. I've even seen it asked on some special operations groups that I belong to. These are some of the best shooters on the planet, and they're not sure what to do with their magazines in between shoots. So we're gonna get to the bottom of it right here, right now. The short answer is yes. Keep your magazines loaded in between shoots, and I'm gonna get to why. So the spring is just a method of storing energy so it can feed rounds up into your chamber, right? The magazine is just a box with a spring in it, and the spring is the only moving part of the magazine, okay? So at some point, an engineer, a firearms engineer at Glock, at Smith & Wesson, is gonna have to decide on a certain material and a certain shape for that spring to keep the rounds loaded, okay? And what they're looking for is high strength, high elasticity, and corrosion resistance. All right, now there's reasons why, and they still use this terminology, but music wire is the material that they've always used for springs underneath vehicles, in machinery, and most recently inside of your gun and in your magazine. The reason for that is because of pianos, okay? So a piano string is constantly under tension. That's 300-year-old technology. Now, how long have semi-automatic weapons been around? About less than 100 years, okay? So when they're looking for what kind of material should we use, music wire was the natural decision by the engineers that make your magazine spring. Okay, so you've got a spring, and you've got it in 3 states, all right? So in rest, and it's just sitting here. Compression or in tension, all right? When you load up your magazine, what you're doing is you're adding stress to that spring. It's in compression inside of the magazine. And what I'm going to show you is that this high stress state in compression here is not a problem unless it's a repeated high stress, okay? So I have here the 3 most common causes of spring, or in this case, magazine spring failure, okay? Number 1 being repeated high stress. Now that doesn't mean that you can't have your magazine spring in a high stress state. What it means is that repeating the load. So load it up, unload it, load it up, unload it, load it up, unload it. This is simulating basically when you load up your magazine and then you empty it. You load it up and you empty it, okay? It's not repeated high stress. Guess what? This material, okay, is designed to be in a high stress state perpetually, okay? What's gonna happen is over time, it will fatigue, all right? And you're gonna see if you're one of those guys that goes to the range every single day, you load it up and you shoot it, you load it up and you shoot it, that's where you're gonna see weakening. You're not gonna see full catastrophic failure of a spring until about 1 million cycles, okay? I don't know anybody that goes to the range that much, and if you do go to the range that much, you're not gonna be just replacing your magazines, okay? You're gonna need a new barrel, you're gonna need a new slide, you're probably gonna wear off your pistol grip from using the gun so much, all right? And then 3, probably least important, is corrosion, all right? So corrosion can be a cause of, mostly these are your special operators, right? Your Marine Corps combatant divers, your Special Forces divers, your Navy SEALs. If you're diving into a clandestine operation with a loaded spring and you're exposing a loaded magazine to salt water, that's some of the most corrosive stuff on the planet. But to answer the question, corrosion probably doesn't matter. Fatigue, not really necessarily, it's a million cycles, but repeated high stress. So what does that mean? Absolutely 100% yes. Keep your magazines loaded in between shooting. Okay, so we're gonna be doing a lot more of this. Like our videos, share our videos, subscribe. If you guys have any questions that you want to hear more info on in a very technical manner, right? And the engineering behind some of the products that we use, that we send out, just leave a comment, you can contact us, and we'll talk to you next time.